going on, y'all? Catfish, I think this episode 11, Steven and Sammy. Okay, so right off the jump, I'm looking at Catfish. Ain't no review next week. There won't be no review until July 8th. They going on a break or whatever. Next week, though, they doing the Where Are They Now, update on some of the catfishes. And look, Bow Wow, a.k.a. Let me strap you up with my lambskin dildo. She'll be on now, okay? And Lil Mama got shot up and stabbed up. That's the only reason why I'm really watching it next week. I want to know the backstory. But, talking about getting choked on Twitter. Child. Anyway, this catfish, I don't know. It didn't get, okay, it was okay. It was a little interesting because it was a mother involved. And, it was just something that you probably would have saw coming, but then you didn't see it coming. But then you like, well, I get it. But then you like, yeah, I think that shit coming at the end. It was one of those twist turns just a little bit. This boy, Steven. He is in a relationship for 6 months with this girl named Samm on, line. They never met. He's in Texas. She's in California, I believe. He just turned 18 or something like that. He's been catfished before. And the reason Neve and Max getting his letter, not from him, but from his mama. And I said, oh, so we got a mama's boy. And that's exactly what he got. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Mama is really trying to look out for her son because, like we said, the boy got catfished before. He went through some shit. She don't want no shit to happen. No bitches playing with her son's heart. And like, baby, you young. You need to use your head. You don't even need to worry about this shit. Let me just tell you this. I was a little annoyed with Steven. I'm like, I know it's young. You can just say, oh, he's young. He's, a little immature. He's in love or he think he's in love. I'm like, baby, you worried about a chick that you ain't never met when you just turned 18, when you should be worried about either passing those ACTs, SATs while you online. And I'm talking about the first time you got catfish. Like, girl, you couldn't find nobody in your high school to go with or in the neighboring high school. Who the hell did you take to prom? Did you even go to prom? Like, I just had so many questions, And after that, I'm just like, you should be focusing on getting into college and worrying about college, because once you get into college, baby, it's going to be a whole bunch of ass there that you're going to think you want. All right? He was just moving a little bit too fast, and it was young love, and you could tell that it was his first real relationship or his first time, probably the first time he ever fell in love, all right? So that's the only excuse I can give, because other than that, I don't want to just say he's straight dumb. But it is what it is. The mama, though, she sent this letter in talking about it because she just looking out for her son. And she was basically like, she monitors everything that her kids do. The girl didn't want to Skype, okay? She wanted to Skype with the girl to see if she real too, to see if this is a good fit for her son. I was like, damn, mama. It was like, I'm on all the social media networks and they got to friend me too, okay? Or unless they can't be on. I said, ew. No. Speaking of which, my mama is my friend on Facebook, and it took me like 2 years to go ahead and say okay to her request. Only because when I went down to LA, I had posted some pictures and stuff. I ain't feel like, let me tell you something, I should just went on ahead and just texted them to her or emailed them to her. And I just said, fuck it, bitch. I'm just going ahead. Because she was like, tag me in the pictures. I'm like, but I ain't trying to tag you. Because, I got one of those mama that's probably going to look at my shit and be like, so what you doing? So you doing what? You what? I just ain't got time for it. And then, I don't know, maybe because I just felt like, you was taking good care of me or whatever, since I had fractured my leg at the time and it was really fucked up then, and you was taking care of me and all that stuff. So I said, fuck it, let me give you a prize and go ahead and punch yourself. And I did. And, I'll probably be blocking her soon, real soon. But it is what it is. I just want to put it out there. She's one of those mamas. So I get Angel. Her name is Aurora, and Princess Aurora, and she's just looking out for her son. She don't want his heart broken and all that stuff. She wants to see who he with. Is she going to be on the up and up? He young, don't want to be taken advantage of and all this stuff. And when they finally meet up with him, you can just see his nose is wide open. He was basically saying this is the person that he goes and talk to. He feel like he can't talk to anybody, or he have never loved anybody in the world besides his family, more like he do this girl. And he was like, the way they met was on Twitter. She was doing some depressing tweet, and he responded and followed her because she had a cute profile picture, and trying to see if he can offer some comfort or whatever. And they struck up a conversation, and he wound up getting the digits that day. I said, all right, you got a little game, okay? You got the digits that quick. All right, didn't even have to ease up in there. He just said, she was just like, here, call me, text me. I was like, okay, little Steven, I see you. But, they was talking a little bit, and they mostly text, which is okay. And then, after they did the texting and stuff, he wanted to do the Skype, and, she never really wanted to Skype. He's a wrestler. She's also a wrestler. So that's one of the main things that they got in common. And so, what was I about to say? Mama wanted to Skype with her. She didn't want to do all that. And it's just like the way they really, really connected is because he was depressed at one point. He was doing wrestling, and he had broke his hand, and he couldn't do the wrestling like he wanted to, and he talked him out of stuff, and it was cute. I was like, all right. It just seemed like puppy love, okay? He missed the stages of puppy love that probably goes on between the stages of the ages of 12 and maybe 14. Well, maybe a little bit further back, probably then, maybe to 15. And he waited until he was almost an adult, well, legally an adult, 18 years old, to go through some shit. And I was like, okay. But so they trying to find some information on her. They found her Twitter account. They found her Facebook account. Basically, everything looks real. Okay, then they find a YouTube page that she has, and it's of her wrestling matches and stuff like that. So, like, if you could put your face on the YouTube and all this stuff, how come you can't, Skype and all that? Mind you, when they be sending back pictures to each other, mostly the pictures that she sent to him is pictures from her Facebook account or her Instagram that's already posted. Bitch, send me some fresh pictures, okay? No. We kicking it. It's month gone in. We supposed to be in some type of relationship. Send me some fresh pictures. You laying down in the bed. Show me that. You finna eat some cereal. Show me that bowl of cereal so I can know it's real. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I was just a little turned off by that. Like, I can go to your Facebook if you're gonna do that shit. So come to find out, it was this guy on her Facebook named Eric. And they hit him up in a message. She called him. He called her. He basically said they was like, they was cool in high school, but since he moved away or whatever, I guess for school, they kind of lost touch a little bit. But he do know that she was sharing phones with a friend of hers named Jasmine. And I said, pause. Y'all share phones. Teenagers share phones with their friends like that. I never knew that. Especially in this day and age, who the fuck share phones like that? Alright? And you ain't sharing my phone because you're not finna see my shit, and I don't want to see your shit, okay? Girl, what? And the track phone costs $20, and you can get them prepaid minutes, $10, $20, $50 on your pay anytime you want it. Girl, get the fuck, okay? But so they go back because dude gave them Jasmine's little Twitter, and it seemed almost if Steven could have been talking to Jasmine, because Jasmine was tweeting some depressing ass tweets. She's concerned about her body and all this stuff. She got body image issues, and one tweet that he tweeted and Samm had retweeted, and then I think either Samm or Jasmine was like, oh, that moment where you see a cute tweet or a message towards you, and then you think that it's for you, but it's not. It's for your friend or some shit like that, because y'all got linked accounts or some shit like that. So it was all a little bit confusing. So they thinking that girl, this ain't happening. It's some fake shit going on. You're not talking to Jasmine. Somebody said, what if she talking to his mama? What if his mama was really Sam? I said, that would have been fucked up. I said, what would you been doing? Trying to get your ass on TV in a free trip, and you going from country to state to state just to play games with your son? That's fucked up. But thank God that was not the case. Because I really would have looked at her side like, what the fuck? You playing with your son? We need to get you some help. But anyway, after that, they go and call Sam. Sam actually answers, and she basically like, I know he wanted me. I just don't know because I got something to tell him. I haven't been 100% honest with him. And I mean, okay, I guess we can go ahead and meet. So they flew out there to California to meet her. And when they finally met, it was actually Sam. It was actually Sam. The girl in the pictures, and she was a pretty girl or whatever. He was so eager. Stephen hugged her, picked her up. Mind you, when you look at Sam's face, her face was like, oh my God, like, like she was uncomfortable. She really wasn't here for this. It's the cameras, all this stuff. It was just throwing her off. She was a little scared looking. Like, this is not what I signed up for. And basically, they talked, and, he was a little nervous, and her big secret was, while we was talking, I know I said I wasn't talking to nobody, but I was talking to other guys. But in the past, I guess a month or so, it's just been you that I've been talking to. Only you. And he was like, I mean, it is what it is. It's okay. We can still kick it like that. You beautiful and all that stuff. Mama, on the other hand, like, I guess. And they go talk and all this stuff. We thinking everything cool, right? So they get back to the hotel and, they go back on their little date and all this stuff. And at one point when they was telling the mama all this stuff, telling them the information they found on Sam, the mama was just sitting there like, bless my son's little heart. He's so young and dumb, he just don't understand. But, he just got to learn. I'm going to let him learn. But Lord, watch over my son. That's how she was looking like. She just not going to say nothing to burst his little bubble, make him feel bad. Because she already felt like this wasn't going to be no real shit. He had to learn it from himself. And I was like, this is one of those situations where mother knows best. Because the next day they go kick it. Go to this place, get some milkshakes or whatever he talking about. So, why would you lie to me about seeing other guys? She was like, well, I didn't know it was going to be this serious. And then, we started getting serious. And I was just like, I wanted to talk to you. He was like, so what do you feel like, the relationship going to be? Do you see us together and all this stuff? She was like, Steven, I mean, you're in Texas, I'm in California, and it's like, when we talking through text and stuff, it just felt like I was there for you, like we were really in a relationship or something. But now that I see you, it's just like, I don't have that vibe. I don't have that feeling no more. It just felt like friends and stuff. Like, you could be my bestie. And I said, she put him in the friend zone so quick. Broke his little heart. And she was like, I got a lot of stuff going on. And I want to focus on me and my life. And, being friends, not relationships and stuff like that. And he was like, so basically, you don't want to be with me no more? I thought we was going to be in a relationship. So what's the point of you being friends with me? Fuck this. And he got up and left. The whole time when she was saying this and he was trying to explain it back, he was trying to, let it sink in and figure it out in his computer, in his head, to make sense to him as to what's going on. He was sitting there, his eyes was watering up. And I said, oh, he finna cry. He was trying so hard not to cry. He cried when he got in that car. And I said, oh, I feel bad for him. He young and all that stuff. And she wasn't intentionally trying to break his heart. But he was just like, fuck you, and we don't need to be friends no more. And that basically how the episode ended. They did a Catfish afterwards, and Sam, she felt bad because you could tell that she actually cared for him because, she sat there and she was crying, and she didn't expect him to just get up and leave like that and have that reaction. And on the Catfish thing, kind of find out he did call her back and, apologize for leaving the way that he left, and they did talk, and he was just hurt. That's all it was. He was hurt. And they still cool. They talk every day, but they're not in relationship. You know, they like best friends, okay? And I thought that was cool. I'm like, I ain't finna be in no relationship with nobody that's all the way over here and I'm all the way over here. And she did come down to Texas to visit him and all that stuff. And you know, it worked out for the best because at this point in time, he should be focusing on school. You know, if you're going to find a girl, why don't you go to school, find a girl at your school or whatever venture it is that you're finna do in life, somebody that's right there, you know, in your own state. You know, but this is a learning lesson. Everybody has to go through that one, you know, to get to the next, you know, and it was cute. It was cute. Y'all tell me how y'all felt about it. And he was a little naive, but you know, lesson learned. Y'all tell me how y'all felt about it. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.